and welcome back to Discussions into the Classroom, Part 2. In Part 1, we talked about the teacher-led discussion and how it looks like into the classroom, and a lot more about the student-led discussion and how to get it successful and well-organized. All right, let's have a look at the interactive discussion. Simply, the teacher presents a new concept, the lessons concept. Then he or she calls those students to interact. How? They contribute their own ideas, they express their opinions, they answer or ask some questions, they explain their thinking. So the discussion starts from the teacher to students and among students. This technique is called interactive teaching. The students are active learners and the teacher can monitor what students do and do not understand. Now, how to prepare a lesson plan for a discussion? You have 4 steps. Number 1, write the objectives. Number 2, create a list of all questions that will help reach the objectives. Number 3, create a list of all the concepts, ideas, or facts that you want to result from the discussion. And last step, close the discussion. It's very, very important to find this a method of closure for the discussion. Let me show you an example. All right, everyone, I just want to show you how I prepare a discussion activity. Look, here is an example of a lesson. It's a reading lesson, okay? It's about the work we do. It's such a short story about the value of hard work, okay? Going through the steps I've just mentioned. So quickly, I'm going to write 2 or 3 objectives from the story and the ideas I want to result from this discussion about the hard work and after reading this story. But this is from my view. As my students may find more, and this is the point from the discussion, then I love creating questions. So I'm going to list all the questions, all the possible questions from this story. Perhaps I can use the questions here included in the lesson. There are a few questions, four questions included here. Or maybe I go for some search, and I love that, to find 2 or more maybe questions. And the best of all, maybe I can find some critical situations to include in the discussion. And finally, close the discussion. Do not ever leave any kind of activity unfinished or undone, especially discussion, but all. Anyway, how to close this discussion activity? For me, I could close the discussion by asking a question like, if you were me, what would you do to be a hardworking teacher? Or if you're a life coach, what advice will give your audience about hard work? All right, everyone, that was an example of how I prepare a discussion activity on a reading lesson. Anyway, before starting the activity into the classroom, and to have an effective discussion activity into the classroom, you'd better set the discussion rules with your students, like listen to each other, allow everyone a chance to speak, disagree or argue politely, stick to the point. We talk about for example, the hard work. So we all talk about the hard work. And last of all, keep track of time. Keep track of time is a very important point, not only for us teachers, but also students. They should realize the value of time for each activity and for their real life. Well, now let's talk about the teacher's role in that situation. As a matter of fact, the teacher plays a significant role. He or she is an observer and monitor, and there's a clear distinction between both. The teacher observes the discussion constantly to take notes on students' performance and progress, and to make a list of points students make to compare it to the list of points included in the lesson plan. But the teacher monitors the discussion closely to redirect students in case they get off the task, or maybe give some support, help, encouragement if they're stuck during the discussion. You may find that teacher's role in the student-led discussion or interactive discussion, but impossible in the teacher-led discussion. Anyway, that's about the teacher's role. About students, your students should have enough background knowledge about the lesson. Why? To contribute, to discuss, to participate, okay? So you may require your students to read a particular chapter of the textbook at home just to come prepared to the class. Some teachers disagree on this point. They quite see that this point is distracting, or they could confuse the teacher or confuse other students. But if students don't have a background knowledge about the lesson topic, that means the whole class is teacher-centered talk. And that's certainly not the suitable environment for activities like class discussion. Last of all, time management. Because it's a discussion activity, keep track of time. Keep track of time. Keep track of time. Yeah, set time for each part of the activity. So you have the introduction, students' responses, questions, and the closure. All right, be well prepared. Anyway, to close today's discussion, let me put the main points to focus on in a list. Number one, choose the best form of discussion to employ. Number two, prepare. Prepare the discussion activity very, very well. Number three, manage the discussion activity to achieve the purpose of the discussion. Last of all, formulate a good summary to close the discussion. Don't leave any kind of activity undone or unfinished. That's it for today's video. Please, if you liked it, give it a like and share it with your friends. Make sure that you are subscribed and don't forget the bell for more teaching videos every Sunday. Thanks for watching. Happy teaching. Happy TLS.